At this time, I'm pleased to be able to announce the next group. This group, as I just found out, I went and interviewed them, was brought together by a young girl who's just 13 years old. And when she's living in Juneau, she recognized that there was a need to bring together their family to dance. And her name is Shxwoondeind. Now I practiced this. I don't know why I do this wrong. Shxwoondeind.aat, and she is a granddaughter of Jimmy George. Also, they named their group Shxwoondeind.aat, bringing things back together. And that's bringing back together the information, the knowledge, and the grandchildren of Jimmy George. Lydia George and Brenda Hansen have been providing leadership to this group, and this group recognizes themselves as a group that's providing leadership training to their youth. Not all their youth in their group can be drums and song leaders. They range in age from the very, very young to their Aunt Margaret, who is in her hundreds. So at this time, I would like to welcome the grandchildren of Jimmy George that live in Juneau and have invited and been participating, getting support from Lydia George, who is with them today. Please welcome Shxwoondeind.aat.
Gunarchisha anat pusani gunarchish yakanuskete as the kakandi at Shxwoondeind.aat. I'm very thankful that you could watch these children. They were just little children when their grandfather passed on. He was the chief of the Kilowells, and he was the grandson of the Art Kwan Shxwoondeind. So I acknowledge the Shxwoondeind family that lives in Juneau. The song we're going to do next is called the Wolf Head Song. I don't know if it's brought here, but we're going to do the song. It was given to Jimmy George as a grandson to use in Aingun because they wanted people to know who he was. And when he passed on, I asked George Jim Sr., should we return the song back to you? He says, you are our granddaughter. Your children are our grandchildren. You're the descendant of us. Your history will always be told through the song and the dance. What I find out as instructor for students, each song tells the history of our Tlingit nation. Each family got history to tell through song and dance. We have a bigger group, but everybody, guess, is still working, and we're on a little bit early. But I thank you one and all, and we're going to do our best to entertain you. And we want you to be happy because celebration is a happy time. We're celebrating. We're celebrating the passing and the privilege of having land claim. Government gave us some of our land back. That's why we are celebrating. It looks like the intent of what it was meant for was lost in the shovel. I've never heard it mentioned. But the elderly at the time, they were happy and said, we're gonna dance when we get some of our land back to us. The Indian land I'm talking about. Thank you. Margaret Abbott usually dances the wolf hat, but we didn't bring it. Her name is Margaret Abbott, and she is Jimmy George's sister, and she's into her hundreds now. So whatever, she was very impatient to perform yesterday, but she got so tired out. Okay, next we have my daughter Bernice Hanson. Step forward, please. And then we have Conrad. Conrad Frank is Kagwantan from the Eagle Nest House of Sipta, and he knows who he is. But he's been groomed to be a leader of his native people, and he's been working with me on that. He knows the songs, he can drum, and he can start any song. He could be a song leader, but he likes to dance. Okay, next we have Marvin Hampson, my grandson. His Dashi Tong Nakani to the Kilowills. That's how we perform. We're Nakani to my sister-in-law. She wanted her brother's name mentioned here. Next. Pansani. We have a Kilowil among them. Pansani, that's his name, Joey Huff, and he's the grandson of Jimmy George, also sister's grandson. Next, and then I have a son named Abraham Washington, and he come to help me today. Now we have another Kagwan Khan. It's a brother to Conrad here. He just loves me. Kevin Gregg. And now my granddaughter, her name is Shxwoondeind. And the other is Crystal Gonzalez. And the one that didn't give up on the dance group is Shxwoondeind.aat. Shxwoondeind.aat means the spirits are coming together. And she never gave up on us, so here we are. Thank God. Around here, that's your welcome. You're welcome. You start them off, Conrad, you start dancing circle in the back. Okay. We'll have Conrad Frank perform the Kilauea headdress for us. He's the great-grandson of the Kilaueas, Cleakeith's great-grandson, also Jimmy George's cousin from Angoon. And there are the children of Shxwoondeind in here. This boy is really good. He doesn't ask reason why when I tell him to do anything. He's there learning. And he's going to be a good leader of his people someday. I feel like I'm just here for a little while now. I've been I can't walk around by myself. I always got to have help. Thank you. Spirit of a halibut. There's a lot of fishermen in here. The spirit of a halibut. That's what it is. The fisherman is out there pulling up the line. The buoy is moving on top of the water like it's dancing. And the dancer is like the halibut. It's got the Indian hook in its mouth, and it's trying to shake it loose. That's why it flops around. It's trying to tear the hook out of its mouth. And these kids, I have to tell them the history of what I'm teaching them. Each song tells history of its people. And Conrad can do the Wujkitan, he can do the Shxwoondeind headdress, but since we're doing it in memory of Jimmy George, this dance group was formed, so he does the Kilauea headdress, and I thank this young man for it. The next song will be, I think, can you dance? We'll do Shxwoondeind headdress to balance it. Our life always have to be balanced. We're gonna do one from my side. Shxwoondeind from Shxwoondeind. My emblem is raven and a beaver. You hear about the beaver prow. That was my uncle John Paul. My mother's maiden name was Florence Paul. John Paul was the son of Shxwoondeind, and my mother was his sister. There are a family living here named Ibonas. Her name was Annie Paul, maiden name. So we use the beaver, the Angoon beaver. The history, we have 2 beaver clan in Angoon. One of it is my grandchildren from Basket Bay. They use the beaver. They have the song to go with their hat, and they have their own history to tell, and we have ours also. Now we're going to do the Shxwoondeind headdress to balance what Conrad just did for us. Thank you. Ready? Who's from? Conrad can drum. And Conrad drum. Stand out from the right. The Shxwoondeind headdress. Okay.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that's here. And I'm glad to be here too. I always think of my brother when things like this happens. Oh, he's just around us today. And it's kind of sad for me to be here this afternoon. Thank you everyone for being here, enjoying the fun, enjoying all the trinket that we never know, we never seen before. We seen them now, just how many there are, all in this world. Even the white people has joined the clan. How wonderful it is, beautiful. Thank you, and God bless you, everyone.
There's one important thing. My drummer is named Vanessa George. She's named after my sister, Lily George. And her place, there was nothing left, ashes. She couldn't come to help me yesterday, but she was able to come today. I'm glad to be among people because things like this happen to us. We look at one another, gives us strength. Thank you. Okay, our time is up.
The grandchildren of Jimmy George. We would like to thank Whooshkataha for their donation of $100 towards the Sealaska Heritage Celebration.